nothing like a nail-biting thriller to kick off the season, and that's what Millbrook had on Thursday night as they hosted Knightdale in a rematch of the third round of the playoffs from a season ago. Early on, it was all Wildcats as Rashad George opened the scoring with the basket off the tip. John Burwell then found the cup to extend the Millbrook lead, and a play later, Jordan Whitfield sinks one from downtown to keep the good times rolling. Faison Brock got in on the early action with a bucket. Then G. Caligé rises to the rim to tip home an errant shot. Trajan Jacob capped off the insane opening 5 minutes of the game in style with a slam that would force Knightdale to call 2 timeouts, trailing 15-0. Jordan Whitfield thought the early run set the tone for Millbrook.
We just came out with a lot of energy because we was hyped for this game, especially being the first game of the season. We stick to the game plan, just came out with a lot of energy.
Jacob and Burwell continued to pace the Wildcats throughout the remainder of the half. After outscoring the Knights 27-11 in the first quarter, the opponent struck back to outscore the Cats 19-10 in the second stanza to send the teams into half, with Millbrook only leading by 7. Murray State commit Dondre Griffin and Knightdale came out of the break strong. Griffin nailed a pair of threes, and just like that, the Wildcats' lead had vanished. Back and forth the teams went for the following 3 minutes. Just as John Burwell would hit a key jumper, then down a big and one, the Knights would answer with baskets of their own, including this dunk. Jordan Whitfield and the Wildcats would have none of the Knightdale come back down the stretch. The 6'1" junior got an acrobatic layup through the lane to fall to knot things up at 49. Aaron Taylor answered on the other end for the Knights before Faison Brock went coast-to-coast for the three-point play to take the lead right back. After the big basket from Brock, momentum was on Millbrook's side. Whitfield would connect from beyond the arc and then pull up for the 2 to put the Wildcats up 57-55 with 3:04 left. Whitfield's strong play in the fourth quarter kept the game in Millbrook's favor, and it opened the door for another Wildcat to make a huge first impression. Off the bench, fellow junior Patrick Dorsey would come on to drain a 3 to put Millbrook up by 5. Chuzama would tip one in on the next play, but Dorsey had one more answer in his pocket with another long 3 to make it 67-63 Millbrook with just over a minute to play. With 33.4 seconds left in the game, Knightdale got one more big steal and a chance to score with Millbrook up by only 2, but it was guess who? Patrick Dorsey that stepped up to take the big charge and send the Maniacs home happy with a win following a trio of free throws from Trajan Jacob, Faison Brock, and Jordan Whitfield, who along with John Borwell finished with a team high of 16 points. With a 72-67 win, Millbrook kicks off the season 1-0. The outcome was just what head coach Scott McGinnis wanted, but he says there are plenty of things to work on to shore up the execution of that outcome.
Especially a game like this first game of the season, where you jump out so big, and then they got a battle at the end.
Yeah.
So all these new pieces.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. We definitely had problems with the pieces at times, getting people in the right space at the right time. But, I mean, Jordan Whitfield stepped up huge down the stretch. Patrick stepped up huge down the stretch. We made enough plays at the end, to win it. So it wasn't pretty, but they're a really good team, and they didn't quit. And I thought our counter run was fantastic.
I think you were up 2 at one point, maybe 3 at the very end there, and they had the ball on their end, and Jordan fell on a loose ball, and you guys got how big was that sequence there?
Yeah, no doubt, and that's what I'm happiest about with Jordan. I mean, we know he's a great player. He's going to make shots. He's going to make plays, but defensively, him getting on the floor, taking charges. I mean, that's really helping us. I mean, Patrick too. Had a huge turnover, and then he came down, got lowered his shoulder, and he pushed off, and Patrick got a charge. I mean, that was big. I'm happiest about both those two guys really growing defensively. I mean, they're going to be special players.
Speaking of defense, how do you think that unit played? I mean, you shut them out 15-0 start of the game.
Yeah, no doubt. We had great energy from the get-go. I think it was more after that. I mean, our defense was okay at times, but what happened was bad offense. We started kind of not making extra passes. I mean, if you look at the first, guys were moving that ball like crazy. Then we got into the second. Guys started just trying to, John was taking it all the way to the rack, not making an extra play. You draw three, two guys should be wide open. So, I mean, I think it's more offensively that kind of got them going, and then we had plenty of defensive issues, tonight to work on. So it's one of those we're just glad to get tape on it, and we got to learn from it. We got to get a lot better.
It will be a quick turnaround for the Wildcats as they come right out of the weekend with a game on Monday night versus Apex. It is at home at 7 p.m. and it follows the 5:30 JV game against the Cougars. Coach Ledford and the junior varsity Wildcats were also victorious on Thursday with the 74-57 win over Knightdale behind 14 points from Jabari Brown. For Millbrook men's basketball, I'm Lindsay Cirillo.